presented by The Deli, located in the Jones and Guerrero building in Hagåtña. Open 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Saturday.
Half a day and welcome back. Check out this next feature.
Fanachu is a podcast that can be found on iTunes, SoundCloud, and your Android player that offers conversations pushing consciousness in the Marianas to new levels. The podcast series was launched by the Independents for Guam Task Force back in November of last year.
For the past year or so, we've been trying to educate the community in as many ways as possible. And so we have monthly General Assembly meetings, we've had teach-ins, we've had coffee shop conversations. And because it's been difficult to get funding for a lot of our activities, we've had to find, the tadza salapi, the low-cost ways of getting the message out there.
Dr. Michael Bavacqua is a professor at the University of Guam and co-chair for Independent Guahan, and he's also part of the media committee.
Our role is to educate the community about decolonization in general, but independence as a political status option in particular.
Manny Cruz serves as not only the co-chair for the media committee, but is also a master's student at UOG currently working on his thesis. He notes his research interests are what drew him to activism and getting involved.
Activism and Chamorro culture, these are all things that I've been interested for a long time now, but I've always sat on the outside as a researcher. And I figured I had the skills, I have the equipment, this can be my way of contributing, and it's a grassroots approach. It requires very little budget, and something I like to talk about a lot in my research and on the podcast too is it's called the democratization of media, and that basically means that the ability to publish content is spread to the masses, and it's no longer stored in big news corporation.
To date, there have been a total of 3 podcasts featuring members from the task force and even difference chef Jason Datwin, and have been held at the Java Junction in Hagåtña.
We set a time, we set a date, and we invite people to come and hang out with us. And if they have any questions, if they have any issues they want to talk about, we just form a conversation around it.
Bavacqua says that it's been really exciting because people bring all sorts of questions and ideas.
One person was asking about, is decolonization anti-American? Another was thinking about, how is this connected to like Scotland and Brexit and stuff like that? And so it was really interesting to just have this conversation space where all these people could flesh out their ideas, their concerns, with the wider goal of just, of enlightening themselves and becoming more educated on this topic.
The most recent coffee conversation was held on Saturday and saw over 20 people in attendance.
We had people that are in jazz bands. We had Shannon McManus there. We had like middle school teachers. We had UOG students. It was a really great conversation. Even had biologists. Yeah. Like all of these people just coming together, kind of sharing their thoughts, but also their concerns. Like that's the thing, is that's what's great about this type of education, is that it's not just the converted, but it's people who are interested, but maybe they don't want to go to like a public meeting.
Instead, you can download the podcast and listen to people who may share the same opinions and concerns as you, and encourage you to perhaps attend the next teach-in or coffee conversation. Bavacqua puts it best: it's all about the different layering of education.
You don't want just one approach. You got to give people just like this net. It's this like wide, vast net of approaches so that they can find sort of their point of contact in that. What is the thing that will grab them and bring them into the conversation?
And although podcasts as a medium is still pretty new, it's generating quite the response.
It's clear that we're reaching people, and we're doing it in a different way.
Young people nowadays, the older generation may be more used to kind of sitting at a public meeting and like getting information that way, but the younger crowd is more used to obtaining information from their phone. And so if you can give it to them in a way that they can access it while they're working out, while they're driving to work, then you have a better chance of reaching them. And so that's what's really important about this, is that the issue of decolonization and what political status is next for the island is so important that we can't really afford to just do it the old-fashioned way. It's got to be something that'll reach as many people as possible.
Get involved and get informed. For more details, check out Independent Guam Task Force on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Stick around, we have this week's installment of KUM Connections.